Conflict between House Steiner and House Davion rages on.
Was it smart for the Archon to hire mercenaries to deal with the bandit army on Carver 5?
Kelly knows that once the bandits are dealt with, the mercenaries will pull out.
And welcome back, everybody. This is Obot10025 with the First Circuit Podcast number 23, brought to you by Universal Air, on time, on task, and on the move, and also Veridian Dynamics, home to the Sabik Model K7 targeting system. We're connecting you. Tonight's episode is going to be the following topics. Will be the C-Bill mechs and the MC mechs you'll be able to go purchase, the Solaris Map and Burnout in MechWarrior Online, and also talking about the footage co-op modes and then also the mods for MechWarrior 5. So first we're going to get into the Mad Cat Mark II. And basically for C-Bills. So you're able to actually go ahead and have the Mad Cat Mark II for C-Bills. And then also all the Clan Hero mechs for MC in case you want to purchase those with MC. Or I think you can purchase those with money, correct? You can do those now too? Or do those like before?
Yes.
You can do it in-game store.
Oh, in-game store. Okay, cool. I didn't buy any, so I don't know. But so what do you guys think about the Mad Cat for like C-Bills?
Oh boy, I personally think we're gonna see a lot more of them, which makes me sad because the Mad Cat right now is kind of the definition of a meta mech. So yeah, fun time.
Well, the hero is the most prototypical meta mech. The others actually is a little more awkward in terms of the builds you can do with it.
Yeah.
Of course, what happens when they release a mech for C-Bills is a mobility quirk nerf.
Oh really?
And
well, I mean.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 when they release a mech for C-Bills, they're going to nerf it. And the Mad Cat, especially because it is a meta whore. And yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of a meta apocalypse. I don't know. I didn't see it too much when the Marauder 2C went out for C-Bills, honestly, and it's basically the same thing but 5 tons heavier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did forget.
Like we're going to see some of the more derby builds, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Marauder 2C, for its actual initial builds, is mostly energy bullets with some ballistic and a little bit of missile, whereas the Mad Cat Mark II has a whole much more spread of ballistic energy and missile.
There's
a little difference more than just being 5 more tons. They're
a tough little mech, though. Basically, I fought a couple of these things earlier, like in my podcast or like early in the stream, and pretty tough little mechs. I don't like fighting these things, especially if I have anything less than a heavy mech. But of course, you know, it all depends on teamwork and the game itself, though. And we also did forget. I'm sorry, we did forget Biter. We have Biter as a speaker. Let's say hello, Biter.
Hello, it's me again. I'm usually here.
We also have Commander Lemming decided to go join us as well too.
My name is Jeff.
Ian.
Hello, awkward intro for the win.
Awkward intro. There you go. So like, how about the hero mechs? You guys have some good ideas for those or builds or anything?
So which particular hero mechs are these? Is it like the 2C heroes, or is it the Omni heroes?
Clan Hero Wave 1, the Omnis.
Yeah, the Mist Lynx, Arctic Cheetah, Ice Ferret, Rainbow Crow, the Shadowhawk, Mad Dog, the Evan Jag, Hellbringer, Gargoyle, and the Executioner ones.
I think we've actually talked about those 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about them at least before. There wasn't necessarily anything too special, I don't think. We were just like, yep, if you like those mechs or you want more C-Bills, people tend to pick them up.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of still what I'm thinking about them, especially since MC in this game is so rarely worth it. I honestly don't really care too much.
The only thing I care about, like MC, is getting the mech base pretty much, and that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we also do have the all permanent Mad Cat Mark II camo patterns for 50% off as well. Thank you for the PSA announcement. So what's next on the docket here?
Next on, we've got the new Solaris Map that we didn't manage to talk about yet last week.
So in MechCon, they gave us a peek of the city map that they've been doing, which is a Solaris Map. And they put together a little trailer, which probably most of the people listening to this have already heard before. But I think we should just get onto our opinions on the map.
Okay, go ahead. I'm setting some stuff up.
All right. I've always, as I said, I thought it was always at least. I'm quite curious to see how a city map will actually fare in terms of gameplay, and the trailer shows us sort of the aesthetics of the map a bit, but it's a bit hard necessarily to piece all the bits and pieces together. I do sort of like at least how they sold the map with the trailer. It's kind of Blade Runner-esque. It looks quite cool. But me personally, at least, I am interested and or concerned with how it will actually play in the game, because a big thing, at least for a huge number of the maps, is verticality. And obviously, being a city, this is mostly completely flat. And instead of being lots of little buildings, like when you go into the city part of River City, they've got big giant site blockers, which are what we're fairly used to in other titles already, or at least other maps. Like if you think of Rubelite Oasis, they've got the big giant mountains. There's lots of big giant mountain places. Crimson Strait. There's lots of big giant site blockers that are already present in the game. That isn't actually, even though it's it's painted like a city block, it doesn't change things too much. And the big trouble with having a completely flat map will be blocking lines of sight and moving around. If the majority of the fighting isn't around big giant blocks, then it could very easily devolve into a snipery kind of situation, because yes, there is that platform above. People could sort of run on what looks like I'm not sure what it was, little above railway, monorail or whatever you call it. People could walk up there, but it's absolutely no cover whatsoever. And if you have jump jets, you have to walk up a ramp miles away and then move to the front line, then fall off. Whereas if you have jump jets, it's still a little bit difficult getting up there. So in terms of gameplay, I am actually at least a little bit concerned, because at least with most MechWarrior online maps that I really like, a big, huge thing is the verticality. You've got hills going up and down, and they all merge together. This allows the big mechs, the small mechs, to mill around the hills and push and poke and go around the corners. But without any hills, the game could become a lot more static and a lot more boring.
Well, you have a lot of obstacles too, like according to like the freeway. But I am concerned about the last map. If you see, it has different corridors coming into a center like area, just like I talked about before. That's gonna be Brawler Town basically. But with the sniper type stuff, you really have to watch, because they'll have sniper corridors coming through those. If say like you run your group only up one certain section, is going to be turning out to be you guys are stuck in the middle of the two gigantic buildings with a hail of fire coming from in front of you, basically. So it does have some concerns about that, but it does have a lot of stuff to block things like the railway system. It looks like there's a parking garage too around there too. There's the freeway. I guess that's a freeway. I'm not sure. And then it does have, you could poke and peek, but I do see this as a poke and peek type map. I am concerned though, because you can't jump on top of the really, really high buildings. That'd be kind of nice though if you can, but you can't do that from what I can tell. The smaller buildings you can definitely get on though.
Yeah, the part that bugs me is that like the most recent maps that MWO has released all have like no man's land in the center. So we've got, even in the new one, Rubelite, which I thought was just going to be a total shit show. It turned out better. I like it, but it still has just dead space in the center of just complete emptiness. And Polar Highlands has that dead space. Grim Plexus has that dead space right in the center.
Yeah.
The new Frozen City has really bad dead space right in the center.
Yeah, true.
With just that's my biggest worry for it, is that they're gonna make the center of the map like some intersection between like a bunch of different roads, so that they can have an easy button as to where to place the domination beacon.
Oh, it's gonna be in the middle.
Yeah, and then just have like an empty circle in the middle of what at least what I thought people wanted was, actual smaller buildings and like kind of a tight corridor battle kind of deal going on.
Yeah, when you hear something like a city map, you sort of think, oh, hey, we're going to have a more brawly situation. But with these big giant block buildings and no verticality whatsoever,
Captain
it
Kirk
actually
10, man,
lends
what's up,
itself
dude?
way better to
What's up?
sniping.
But it's
Yeah.
a lot of, just like again with Rubelite, I kind of just have to wait and see what it actually turns into, because I thought Rubelite was going to be a huge map, and it's actually one of the smaller ones. This
no one
one
uses the outer rim basically. No one does
yeah.
it.
This one looks very large, at least to me, because like when you're looking at the scales of everything, if say like one of those big railway things was about as wide as a Viper, I think, if I remember correctly, or maybe even 2 Vipers. And if you're looking at that top-down view, that could be a huge area. So it could end up turning into like Polar Highlands, but with buildings in the background, and that would scare the shit out of me.
Actually, I don't think so. Well, actually, right though. But the problem that I see, if you are a learn boat, it's going to be pretty much useless, like in this map, unless you go down one of those corridors and just hold that corridor. But there is, like, you can hide under the railroad system, just like in Crimson Strait. You can do the same thing too. Just hide like underneath. Same thing with the whatchamacallit, the HPG. Just hide it like underneath as well. But
well, I mean, ATMs would make that much less of an issue with the railway system.
Oh, definitely by far.
ATMs just forego that issue completely.
Like Nathan Briggs says, or actually like Nano says, destructible buildings will be nice, and that would be kind of cool actually. But I highly doubt they're going to do that.
It's funny though, they've been saying they've had technical difficulties making this city map in the first place, and yeah, at least what they show with their Solaris trailer thing, they're just doing big giant site blockers and a little bit of destruction here and there, like doing whole destructible buildings and all that, and lots of buildings all over the place. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. At least the trailer doesn't give me that impression.
Especially with the way that CryEngine is currently optimized for this game, which is like not. So destructible buildings would have a great impact on performance.
They do show like a garage with its sign getting shot and falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Signs,
the extent.
Railways.
Yeah.
And trees, obviously. The 1 or 2 that are there.
Fences. Statues, maybe.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. Just general things we could go blow up, basically, just to go ahead and shoot. Like, I know, just like you said, the statues, the trees. The, what was I going to say? Damn it. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Just kidding. Don't mind me.
It's a mini game before the game to see how many trees you can knock over.
And like,
those shits, those trees will block like a full AC-20 shot.
I would say
they will.
But lasers go right through them.
I would say generally, at least, looking back at most of the MechWarrior Online maps, they're fairly minimalistic if you sort of imagine the actual level of depth you're going into. The thing I think, the map I would imagine with the most stuff in it is something like Forest Colony, because it's got all the trees. But otherwise, it's always just rolling hills, big giant blobby mountains, and maybe a few unique little buildings here and there. But that's about it for. They do quite a good job with the maps, but they're fairly rudimentary if you think about it.
I honestly wish that they would take the maps from the invasion mode that you never see anymore and repurpose them at least into like a something.
That would be easy for them to do too.
Yeah, it's not. Honestly, it would add a bunch more maps to the map pool, and they wouldn't have to do as much work as they have with just creating something from scratch. And I miss some of them. Like Emerald Taiga is a really cool map, but you don't see that shit ever anymore. So, I mean, okay, some of them like Boreal Vault is a shit show, but
yeah.
The rest of them, like I had developed all these strategies for them, and now that faction play is basically either dead or I'm never going to get the actual faction play game modes, I miss the maps. I want something different.
Stupid random question I just found out, but on HPG I took the free camera and flew below the map, and there's a giant cube. Why is there a giant cube?
Really?
Yeah, a giant white cube.
I don't know, Ian, do you think there's anything like for that though, since you know how to program and everything?
I could make some assumptions, but honestly, no. Why would you do that?
Best guess, maybe they tried to add another floor to it, and they were like, "Fuck it, let's not add another floor to it," and they just like pushed it underground and forgot about it.
It's got a giant checkerboard pattern. It's a giant cube as well.
Wow.
Like, anyway, that's something for people to check on in their own time. I looked below the map and was, wait, there's something there.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I think there's only so much we can piece together with that trailer, and obviously Solaris City Map is a work in progress. However, yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done on that thing. Like they're trying to work within the technical limitations. They want to give people a true city map, but they also can't really give people a true city map. But they're trying, and it might just be a game balancing nightmare.
Well, also like
I'm also
sorry, go ahead.
I'm also gonna say when that's something we discussed earlier slightly. When you say city map, I did not expect to get this wide streets. Like looking back at MechWarrior 4, which was a super blocky city, I actually liked that loadout, especially for stuff like flanking maneuvers and 1v1 fights. So I'm gonna be interesting to see how fast my mechs perform on this map in particular.
Yeah, because you the thing with always the rolling hills, it plays into the fast mechs, the slow mechs, the big mechs, the small mechs. But big giant open streets. Well, I guess the large laser mechs will be happy.
Yeah, true.
Oh,
Yeah, when I thought city map, because I haven't played any other MechWarrior games, I thought of Armored Core maps, and most of those have destructible buildings.
Well, they do
but
have destruction.
They're all very, very much smaller. Like I
have-
remember Armored Core 4, and you could just wipe a building out on accident.
Armored Core 4 is pretty cool. I love that game. But they do have like destruction in like incursion mode, where you go ahead and kill the gates, go and shoot those, and the little tiny blocks that you see the inner structure like of the wall itself. So they can do it. I just don't think they have the time to go do that for every single building piece. And then also too for MechWarrior 5, like we're gonna get into that later on. I did watch someone, I forgot who it was, that was saying that the destruction inside MechWarrior 5 for the buildings themselves were more of a kind of like you hit it and then it turns quickly into the building, like into the damaged part of the building. It doesn't have like fires going on, little tiny stuff depending on what you do. Like let's say you use a flamer, you'll be on fire. If you use like say like a ballistic, it'll just be just explode. They just have like it instantly turns into another type of building, like little section that you hit. So that's one thing that I noticed that he actually noticed. I forgot who it is. I'll try to find it again. That he was saying that that's part of what's happening. What they just kind of just pop in there, type thing.
Oh yeah, so it's like lazy destruction where they just made like copy pasted. What is the word for it that I'm thinking of? It's not components. It's like a prop that you just paste in. So you have like multiple of the same buildings that get destroyed the same exact way.
Exactly.
It's literally called damage states, which is where you duplicate a model and then work with the second model to make it look damaged.
Yeah, basically we talked about that, and after
switch between the stages.
Yeah, he was just talking about that. I was like, oh, that's interesting because I rewatched the video again. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry about that. Let's get to the next. Anyone else have anything?
Other HBG trivia. Those little kind of ramps with there's a little space below it. That space goes really deep, but there's also doors on the map that are completely closed, and they still model, or at least there's still a gap below for some reason. That's all.
I guess to give aesthetics to it, something like that.
At least from above, you don't see. I bet a lot of people would hardly notice these doors, but it's just another random thing.
Yeah, basically, I know in River City, like in the Citadel, if you really look at the Citadel and just go around it and everything, you can actually see they do have little doors for people and all that kind of stuff. And they put detail like into the map itself, but I don't think anyone really pays attention to that kind of stuff. Unless it's
it's just why would someone add a little corridor behind that door and have a little office to the side?
See, I peeped in those windows when I'm floating by. again, on one of the maps that never gets used. I can't even remember its name. It's like Hellbore Springs or something like that. It's also got like windows all over it, all over all of the individual buildings, and they're all lit up from the inside. It's super cool. I love it. I love the small detail. And again, that's another map that a new player probably won't ever see because it's only for this one game mode that's mixed in with a bunch of others in a specific game type, faction play, that is just brutally underpopulated.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't underpopulated before, but lately it is. A couple years ago it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, when I first joined, oh yeah, I could get a match in 2 seconds. I mean, it was against MS, but it was still good.
True.
I think with faction play, the really big thing is that people are burnt out, which leads us to our next topic.
Okay, yeah. So next topic, anyone else have anything about the maps real quick? Okay, cool. So next topic is Burnout. And we're going to kind of discuss like what we do for Burnout. And also in chat, if you guys can, go ahead and like discuss like what you guys do for Burnout in MechWarrior Online. So I know during the Christmas vacation, or Christmas, for the whole month was pretty much, get the bags, do this. Oh, there's another event going on. Okay, basically you play a lot, you play the same exact thing, and so basically Burnout happens. I know for myself, Burnout is a big thing because obviously like we sit there, edit videos, look at videos, we live and breathe about like MechWarrior Online and everything. So like Burnout happens a lot for like YouTubers and streamers and everything. At least like playing. And what is some of the things that we can do that to go alleviate burnout, and why is burnout there? So like I'll leave it to the floor there, and then I'll go afterwards.
I mean, I kind of have the opposite opinion on you, or as you, for the YouTube part. Like, I wouldn't still be playing MechWarrior if I didn't have a YouTube.
Oh.
I would have quit because I was bored out of my mind, and I did a bunch of stupid shit to try to make it fun, but then like stupid shit by yourself is nowhere near as fun as doing stupid shit and showing it to a bunch of people.
True.
But I mean, I guess with the dunk competition, a reminder due on
Perfect
those
example.
are Monday is the deadline. I try to find ways to keep the game enjoyable by doing shit that I've never done again, or I've never done before. And on top of it, I mean, if I'm getting really, really bad burnout, I just play another game. Like there's only so much you can do by playing the same game in order to not get bored of the same game. Like you kind of have to do something else. At least that's my opinion on it.
MechWarrior Online is mostly just skirmish and editing all the different types of builds and such. And that indeed, if I'm getting tired of that, I go and play something else for a while. Play an RPG, play a real-time strategy, do whatever else. That's really it, really.
Yeah, one big thing for me to fight burnouts is just literally just play with our group. The game is way more fun in group, and personally I don't think I would play it on my own at all anymore. And besides that, yeah, I completely agree with Bida. I'm currently playing XCOM 2 to get into a different feeling. I'm obviously looking forward to Battletech, which is going to be a different game. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, actually, same to me too. It's like Burnout was it happens to me a lot actually, and the best thing for me to do is actually just step away from the game for about a couple days or a week or something, and then kind of do something else, basically, and then you come back with a fresh perspective of different things that you can do, and then and plus also too, like Lynn was saying, try something different, something you don't normally do. Like say like I don't play like assaults, I'll jump into assault and see if I could do something like with the assault, or I'll jump into a certain mech I don't even play and then jump on that one, try different builds. Like don't try the same meta exact build I do all the time. Do something else. Try like something that's fun. Try like a like Uzil with like AC2s or something like that. Just try something different and do different tactics as well too. Because I know like with the game itself, you could actually the first 2 to 3 minutes you can tell if the game's won or not based on positioning of where people are. You can tell exactly where people will go to what they're going to be doing. And And I know for me, it's like after a while, I mean, playing 20, 30 games in like 1 or 2 days, you're sitting there going, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And plus also too, being with a group of people like Larsh's group on Friday nights, they do like theme drops, do something different. I know MS, I think it was like MS or somebody did like a crab drop during Christmas Eve. I thought that was really cool. All they did was crabs, and so that helps alleviate the boredom that you get from playing MechWarrior online constantly, and you won't get as much burnout when you go do that kind of stuff. And like I said, playing with different people is a great idea. Find a group of people that you like doing it with, and that's kind of how I do it. Plus, also playing other games too. That's my take on it.
Yep, find a group that you like doing it with. Bow chicka wow wow.
Bow chicka wow wow.
I mean, that's the iffy part for me as well, because I'm like, I am definitely antisocial. And when I get into a Discord with 12 people, especially in like Larsh's Discord, where I get in there and everyone is shouting, I get a headache and I leave after like 5 minutes. So,
Mop.
I can't vouch completely for the find people to play with thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe find 3 or 4 people to play with is where I kind of go. But okay. Another fun thing I like to do to alleviate burnout, I stream snipe people a lot.
Opstoner.
Opstoner like 3 times now. I've stream sniped successfully.
Oh my god.
And then like 2 other times I've failed. I stream sniped Larsh.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten you yet, Bob, but you're on my list.
Oh, you used me as a shield, so I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I don't know. There are ways to get into the community without like joining a full 12-man. Just kind of lurk around and I know I went to Stream Snipe Majestic and he started doing scouting, so I was like, well shit, I'll join scouting. And I ended up carrying him instead in one match. And then after that, he's like, okay, you're joining my party. And I played a couple and there was no voice chat, but it was actually nice. I didn't carry him every match. I'm a shitty player, but I was actually pretty good in that round. It was just funny.
Yeah, just doing something different, join a different group or hang out with different people. I know there's like Majestic Stream, like Discord. Find the different Discords that are out there. There's always people dropping. There's Molten Metals Discord. You go to like RJ Base Discord, Kodak Bear, I think his name is, or something like that. Go to his. There's always people, and there's different groups of people you can go and talk to and say, hey, I'm going to go join. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, come on in, man, because that's a community type thing of this game. And then they'll find different builds for you to do, or just they'll try something different. And that's the one thing that a lot of times when you hit burnout, you just do something different or play a different game too. Like I've been doing Space Hulk, and then also like Dawn of War 2, and then I'm getting into like SimCity 4, and kind of like just kind of chilling out and just kind of relax, just chill, and then come back 2 or 3 days later going, okay, cool, and something, and it's new, basically. Like you always feel like refreshed when you do that kind of thing. Just some ideas for like everybody.
Yeah. I mean, no one's you're not gonna jump into someone's Discord and then say hi and then they'll be like, no, get out.
I know.
Not here unless you somehow get into like a private Discord chat room.
Well, yeah, if there's a beef, you go to his and go to Molten Metals and everyone, and 9 times out of 10 they're pretty cool. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. But it's very, very rare that you'll run into anyone who will just boot you out and not give you any advice whatsoever.
Yeah, true. nanoreaper says, I find some time playing by myself relieves a lot of burnout, since I think most of the burnout comes from the player base. Somewhat, pretty much. I think the player base is one of the things that actually gets me to go play the game, to tell you the truth, but that's just me. But I do like playing alone too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, just getting in a light mech and not giving a single fuck about what your teammates are doing feels really good sometimes.
True.
It absolutely does.
Like, just go, you do you assassinate some poor learn boat, have some fun, and don't even worry about what your team is doing.
Sometimes, like,
it's
even
really
when
nice.
just playing with a group and we're just losing over and over and over again, and I'm trying to carry, I'm doing 1,000 damage every match, and it's not good enough, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in the 2 machine gun stealth locust.
I still get 1,000 points.
Well, suddenly we start winning.
Oh.
Another reason for Burnout we completely forgot to mention that Reality Deviant just reminded me. Events. Events are a
God,
big
yeah.
reason for burnouts.
Oh, they helped. I thought they would help alleviate burnout for the most part.
It kind of depends on the kind of event. Like usual events, for example, the daily stuff we had on Christmas.
That was cool.
That helped.
Yeah.
But if you have to actually grind out 300 loot packs, I mean, it's the same thing over and over again.
I personally hate the tournament grading system. I feel like that will cause burnout.
The tournament grading system?
That basically, okay, so basically the tournament grading system, if you get solo kills, it basically outdoes everything because damage numbers are graded really low.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Assists are barely graded at all. Wins count for a lot, but solo kills give you like 70 points, while just like getting a kill most damage dealt gives you 20 plus 10 for the assist. So what it causes people to do is run off, avoid their teammates so they don't get either kill stealed or get their kill stolen, or have someone else take the KMDD. And no one wants to play as a team for like basically the next week and a half, and it is painful.
God, yeah.
So I still think that needs a rework. I thought it since I first started playing this game, but
Yeah, I agree. When we had the trying to get the match score and scouting, I was just telling people like the biggest thing is solo kills. So if you're doing the most damage on someone, you really want to finish them off to make sure you get all that score, and it's kind of yeah, indeed doesn't reward teamwork. And the other thing about teamwork as well is your match score is cut down when you die, even if like you died for the team, and it again rewards selfish play.
Yeah.
At least there are rewards for AMS now. Like
God, yeah.
that's something that people have been asking for decades.
Well, anytime there's a reward, or like you got to get like certain match score, I just pop out that Nova, and it's like I'm fine. I don't have to worry about it. I don't even have to do any damage, and I still get the match score.
As someone who likes going about narking people, I like a lot of people get encouraged like, oh, I should join you in the narking, and they're like, oh, look how much narc damage thing I'm getting, and I'm like, no, there's no narc damage stuff. There's only narc kill. That's the only time you're rewarded for all the intel you're providing. It's not like a UAV or a tag. You don't get tag or UAV damage.
True.
Well, you don't get narc damage. And they assume that it's going to, a team play weapon is going to be rewarded like the other ones, but no.
Hey, Bards Rock,
it's
what's going on,
when
man?
a lock-on missile kills the mech that you put your narc on, that it actually gives you a true reward.
And it's not just about the team kill weapons, it's also about the few team rewards we have, like Lance Information or Savior kills. They do give you nice amounts of C-bills and XP, but they don't reward you in terms of match score, which doesn't help at all.
Do you think they should actually put that, like, as far as like Lance formations?
Usually, at least match score isn't so important. Like most people value, of course, C-bills above most of the other things. C-bills maybe XP. And in that regard, like I don't care much about how they value the match score, other than when it plays into events.
Yeah.
But I think at least for C-bills wise, that's always you want to reward team play. I would say that's most important thing to focus on.
Hold on, there's team play in this? You're kidding, right?
Well, you get bonuses if you use tag or UAVs and such, but no, not for narcs.
I know.
Which
they should actually give match score, just for narcs, at least I think, though, because playing a narc boat is helpful, but it's a support mech that not a lot of people do, and they should do that. Just like the AMS, they give match score though.
It's a bit like all you need to change is
Groups to have
yeah,
fun in games.
it's kind of funny. You knock someone and someone's loaming, and you don't even get the spotting assists, even though they're using your lock. The only time you get the spotting assists is when you knock them, and well, it doesn't even matter you knock them. You just hold the lock on them yourself,
Yeah.
and then it counts. But really, the learners are using your lock. They're getting a bonus from it, so it should say spotting assist, knock damage, etc., etc., and that gives you XP or C-bills, or both.
Mhm.
True.
Anyway,
true.
guys, we're rolling on 35 minutes,
Okay.
and that gives us a bit of time to cover our last topic, I think. we
Last
should
topic
roll
is
on to that.
MechWarrior 5. Now,
Mhm.
I did post some pictures like in the Discord, and I'm gonna go put them up like in my stream though. So I'm gonna do the first one, which is the dropship hangar that shows like the Mech Lab star map, market operations, and the barracks. And I'm highly impressed. You know, basically seeing seeing the footage for MechWarrior 5, I was kind of like upset because they really. Hold on a second. I gotta put this in there. Damn, okay, I forgot.
So I think, well, to be clear to the audience, there were some announcements made in MechCon, but what we're talking about now is there was 3 videos released on IGN, 2 of which were gameplay, Shadowhawk and Atlas, and 1 of which was in the dropship.
Yeah, and basically with those, you're able to have show the different stuff that you can do in MechWarrior, like mercenaries, which is really nice. You know, I definitely like how they have this. This is from the Shadowhawk or the Mech Bay walkthrough, and they show just for like a couple seconds these different maps you can check out. One of them is the MechWarrior 5 Mercs, and it shows like the Mech Lab, the star map, and everything else. I'll show the star map link in just a second, but it's kind of like interesting because we don't know much about MechWarrior 5, and this tells a lot about it. Like me and Ian talked about this before, because you got the combat record, the like logistics, you have techs, mechs, like battle mechs, pilots, and the medics, then storage, and then your finances and everything else, all about your different mercenary unit. I thought that was pretty cool and interesting that they did this. And
Also, on the bottom right corner, something we didn't mention earlier.
what's that?
Latest news, internal communication. So
Oh, yeah.
apparently there are going to be background events.
That's gonna be interesting. Actually, I didn't realize that though.
Now, obviously, this is all alpha build that you could throw up all of this as an idea of how it could work, but the final systems could be completely different, or a lot of them might be stripped from the game if they can't put them all in. However, at least this is a good idea. Showing the vision of what they're going for with the game, that you're managing all the logistics of your battle mech company, your mercenary company. You've got funds, income, outcome. There's events, stuff going on. There's a mech lab that they have on the thing.
Yeah.
And a star map, and there's like when they go through the star map, there's actually lore. Oddly enough,
there's
describing
lore
the
on the planet. Holy cow! Oh my god, they actually got someone to do it.
And in the video, you can see as well that we're in a Lao system, but we're going to serve another faction, for this particular mission, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. So again, there's all the playing off of the different factions. So yeah, it at least gives an impression of all the MechWarrior, simulation stuff that people have. That at least for me, I've been most interested in. Not the gameplay where they put a spaz in a mech and then he flails about randomly, but the whole meta game around it. That is much more interesting to me.
Well, I know, like for myself, though, like I used to run a MechWarrior role-playing game. I used to do merc contracts, and one of the things on the mission brief that if you watch my stream here, the one where it says objective rig like assassination, the contract terms, it's exactly the kind of stuff I used to do for MechWarrior for the role-playing game. Transporting terms like 25%, the like duration of 2 weeks, salvage rights, like exchange, support rights, straight you get 20%. like all that kind of stuff. And I like how they incorporated that into what you can do. Then also you can sign your battle mechs and sign your MechWarriors and everything. I love how they did that, and that's I'm having better hopes now that MechWarrior 5 is going to be actually pretty good.
I'm still curious as to how they're going to work out the whole universal economy changes and such from like your every move, the stuff that they're advertising about that, how it's a live changing environment, and depending on that environment, different quests are generated or different missions are generated.
Well, like
it seems that's the part that is a big promise that would be great if they pulled it off, but I'm not 100% trusting.
Yeah, basically I would like to see like if they have like house bills, because they had Accreta bills and like standard bills and everything, and then exchange rates were different, and then they have C bills, which is Comstar bills. And it'd be kind of interesting though if you do a Merc contract, would you say I want house bills or like I want Davion bills, or do you want C bills or half and half and stuff like that? That'd be kind of interesting to see what they do based on exchange rates of what you see at the time. And like you said, depending on what type of planet you attack, defend, raid, or like whatever, basically, would that affect the overall economy of the inner sphere, or or the general area, like what what it's at? So say like you hit like.
I mean, granted, it's not going to have like a massive effect.
Oh no.
Because like you're one Merc group in the middle of nowhere. I'm just. What I'm angling
on this early
towards
vision that they've shown, it only shows regular C bills. Though, if you wanted to go mega simulationist, you could have somebody mod in different types of C bills. And if you wanted someone to go particularly crazy, you could mod in, oh, I hired this engineer from a Karita space, so he wants Karita bills, etc., etc.
Or even like if you ask a certain faction like for a type of bills that is of a rival faction, they'll get upset.
That'd be cool,
That would be pretty
Or they
funny.
pay you effectively less.
But
I mean, have you ever tried to go into Capellan space and use Federated Suns credits? Or
well,
even
exchange
symbols
rates, exchange rates different. That's why a lot of Merc units actually took Comstar bills, because it's a universal rate. But then changing Comstar to Karita bills, because let's say you went from Davion to a Karita contract, but you have C bills, but you still have to go purchase like Karita bills in order to go do certain things like within that area. So it'd be interesting to do it. I don't think they will, but it'd be kind of cool as a general economy. Just see how the economy works for that. It'd be kind of cool. I would love that.
But yeah, I am interested to see. We got a glimpse of what they will be doing for the overall metagame, but obviously, how much this all will actually pan out and how involving it will all be isn't a matter you can promise the world. But then, in the end of the day, you could always just make things sound a lot bigger than they actually are.
Oh, did you see they actually have planet information? Did you see that? It's right there. See, it's right there. And also to alleviate like everyone too, the timeline is 3015. So just let everyone know the clans do not come out until 3050. So they're probably gonna have like 1 or 2 packs or like upgrade packs or whatever it is that they're gonna call them to bring the clans into it. They're not just gonna jump in the clans. But with mod support, let's get into mod support.
Yeah, with mod support, you don't need to wait on any DLCs. You can just mod your own clans.
Yeah, and the fact is that they're okay. I found it like hilarious. I was playing actually a Supreme Commander Forged Alliance mod, and one of my friends builds a unit, and I'm like, "Well, that looks familiar." No shit, it's a cougar. And there's been just a bunch of sorry, I'm getting distracted, but there's just lots of creative people that are really, really invested. And especially since this is an older audience, these are people that actually know how to mod. It's not like making Minecraft skins or something. Like you actually are doing real shit. But you have a community that's actually capable. And that excites me. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff the community throws out.
Yeah, so this is one of the big things announced in MechCon. I liked that they kept it short and simple. What I'm curious about is, of course, you can promise, again, just like with the overall world stuff, you can promise there'll be mod support, but there's a lot of ways you can support mods, quote unquote. You could just have the Steam Workshop, or you can release all the dev tools, etc., etc. Now, a question I have perhaps that Ian might be able to answer would be, the engine they're working on, how good is that for mods typically?
They are using Unreal Engine, which is literally the only engine I have never used out of the common ones, so I can't answer you that one. But I would not expect to get any development tools from them, because those are the really expensive thing in game development, and what separates a big studio from a small modder. So what I would expect, we're promised Steam Workshop integration. So that's already a big thing, because it makes subscribing to mods really easy. What I would expect beyond that is the source code being open, so not encoded on your disk, so you can actually go ahead and read it and change it. Probably what Battletech is doing as well, that most of your configs are in XML files, so you can easily modify those. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're gonna get some extra tutorials on how to do stuff and how to actually work with the assets and stuff like that.
Also, like I've been reading too, that what's going to happen when someone does mod their game and then they want to go play with other people? Basically, does it have some type of tool that basically says, only unmodded stuff or something like that? Like, I'm not sure about how that's going to work, because, like, with like co-op mode, like, say like I grab Lemmy and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and do some mission or something like that, but if my stuff's modded like crazy, but in yours is not, so does it change back
if
to the
they
normal one?
don't put that in, they will get the most shit. That would be the biggest shitstorm, because games have been doing that for ages. Like Supreme Commander Forged Alliance can do that. Fucking Gary's mod can do it. If Gary's mod can match up everybody's mods with the millions of mods that are out there for it, then hopefully a game released in 2018 will be capable of matching people with equivalent mods, or even just being able to auto download the mods that they already have.
Yes. So the auto download of mods is in theory super easy, since you've got that Steam Workshop integration. You just see what the other players subscribe to and download all of them. The big question here is how their network infrastructure is going to work.
Yeah.
If you actually host the game client-side, then mod support over multiple clients should be easy. Or if they actually put up a server to host their co-op games on, that's slightly more difficult. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Like Romero says in chat, PvP cells is something I'd like to see in the game. PvP cells. What do you mean by that?
Is that player to player?
Yeah, yeah, basically player to player. Like, do you think player to player mods to sell to each other or something? I don't know. That's just what I'm reading like in chat though.
Yeah, he might be talking about what I just mentioned, that you don't involve any kind of official network infrastructure and just have two PCs connect directly.
But do you think that, like, say I'm gonna play with Fighter, Lemming, and you, and then basically you all have 3 different mods. Now I have to download all those 3 mods that you guys have, but you have like different ones. So basically, now I have like an extra, 500 gigs worth of space of just modding the game itself. Do you think that's going to happen or something?
No, that's not going to happen, because the way the co-op mode is going to work, basically you open up your campaign for us to join you as pilots temporarily. So if anything, we would have to download your mods in order to make our games compatible with your campaign.
Okay. Do you think they'll do something like with like Fallout 4 though, as far as like they'll have like say like Nexus mods where people put them up and then you can download like what you want? Or do you think they'll just do it through Steam or something like that?
Yeah, and
they're gonna do it for Steam Workshop, which is kind of like Nexus but easier.
Okay, and
somewhat, yeah. There's limitations to the Steam Workshop as far as I'm aware, how much it can actually change the game, how big the files are, and what kind of content you can include. But I'm no expert.
And like Romero was actually saying, like, are you able to have people pay for your mods that you can sell your mech to another player? I don't know. I think PGI would put a stop to that, though, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I
for
mean, you could.
the reason that's not going to happen. The licensing thing, you can't actually do this without official license. And also the Steam Workshop is not made for paid mods, which
Yeah, also,
I'm super happy about.
well, also too, like with I mean, you could probably set up something where you have a Patreon account or something like that, saying, "I have these mods. If you want to give me money, cool." But I think though, like as far as like if you want my mod, give me $10, period. And that might be like something that I don't see happening too. But if you want to give people money, go ahead, basically. But that does set up a new market though for a lot of different people modding MechWarrior 5, and I do see that market happening though, as far as just give me money for that.
Having a modern MechWarrior title, I think, is a big draw to a large section of the audience out there. So, and them at least saying they have some commitment towards mod support is the right way to go.
Oh, definitely by far, man. Look, remember I was saying actually in-game money like C-bills and stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna be like anything like that though. Anyways, so now we got the co-op support. We got about 10 minutes left. So the co-op, what do you guys think about the and the co-op stuff?
Oh, well, co-op. It's gonna be co-op. You invite your friends to play with your mechs, and you're gonna shout at them if they die in your mechs. That's.
Now the interesting thing though, if you do see the first one where it shows like the Mech Lab Star Map Market, do you see how it has ransom combat record and it says mercenary like rating like novice, but it has ransom mercenaries? So is it you ransom your friend? You got to buy your friend back. Like say like Ian dropped with me and he got captured. Do I have to buy him back before I get to have fun with Ian again?
The intention there, certainly at least, is you can have AI MechWarriors pilot your spare mechs or something like that, perhaps.
See, I'd be interested in how they transfer pilot skills over, because they said they were going to do some sort of pilot skill tree, and then if they're allowing co-op, they could go like the other person, like, oh, you're another merc unit, and you're just merc units teaming up for the time period, and you pool your resources, and so you use your own mechs separately. Or it could be, as you've said, where it's just you bring them in and they pilot one of your mechs, and in that situation it would be weird as to how they would, maybe they do a second skill tree that would like unlock as you do more co-op missions, and it's just like a separate co-op skill tree. I'm not sure.
It's also interesting if they do a skill tree, what the skill tree actually does, because if you got AI players, obviously you can upgrade their aim, which is the usual skill tree for MechWarrior.
Yeah.
But if you do a co-op, you're basically gonna be exploiting, so to say, which I don't think they're gonna do a whole lot about. I think they're just gonna be fine with it.
Do any of you guys, like, I'm just in my mind at least, I'm thinking of Fable 2 and 3 in terms of co-op experience.
Fable 2 and 3?
You got in Fable 2 and 3, what they did was, I mean, it was a fairly rudimentary system, but it's like you had your own single-player campaign. You could invite someone in, and they would become, random guy John or whatever, and they would import their own stats from their own campaign. Basically, that's at least how it worked.
Interesting. Like, this is the part we kind of have to trust on what Russ is saying, which is something I'm somewhat having issues with. But the way he described it, it would be like you open up your campaign and your friend is going to take the place of one of your AI pilots.
Yeah, it's most likely the easiest thing that they could put into MechWarrior 5. Basically the most easiest kind of like idea they can do. And it doesn't require much coding. Just say, hey, come on in and play this guy's mech, type thing. But
a little question. I mean, obviously this could be modded, but it's like, if you just start with very little, sometimes I imagine what people would like to do is you start a new campaign and all 4 of you start in small mechs. And all work together. That could be quite fun, rather than jumping in the middle of a campaign.
That'd be cool, actually. I would like that.
But if obviously you start with just your own MechWarrior and one mech, then it's like, oh, sorry, but I can't get you in yet.
You could be a foot soldier.
Exactly.
Or you can ride on the shoulder of my mech and try to shoot down.
You get to
That's
clean
the
the
thing. You have to
oil.
hire the MechWarriors as well, so it's not even as simple as just random foot soldier appears and runs into the field of battle.
I'd enjoy that. If you could like hijack a tank or something,
Oh,
that
that'd
would be
interesting.
worth it. But
And for
that's
me personally, like me and Ian sort of talked about this, was like I want to mod in the slowpoke so I can finally take that onto the field of battle, go around and kill people with my one medium laser. But if I'm jumping in someone else's campaign, they need to get the mod, and then they need to go somewhere and happen to find that slowpoke is on sale, buy it for some reason, and have space.
Yeah, true.
But the good thing about you playing the Slowpoke is when I invite you in my campaign, I don't have to spend a whole lot on you.
Nope.
True. Oh
How much
god.
is the Slowpoke? 700,000?
Yeah,
It's pretty cheap, actually.
it's less than like an LB20.
Oh god. So we got about 5 minutes. You guys want to add anything?
So I think just for the last couple of minutes, who here has actually watched the additional gameplay videos of the Atlas and the Shadowhawk again?
I did.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
like,
paid
what
for
pilot
that
do
because-
they have getting that? Like, I think Ian brought that up in in chat. It's like, who in the hell was piloting those mechs? Did he even play
It's
MechWarrior?
the return of the first Shadowhawk pilot, the first
Yeah.
gameplay footage we saw. He's returned.
well, that guy was okay. Like, the first one I saw the polygon footage, he was okay.
All he
But
blinks, like,
he wasn't
like,
great
like
or
when I put this up for
terrible
first
in my
circuit.
opinion. Like, okay, if you think that was bad, watch Polygon's Doom gameplay footage. 30 minutes of Doom.
Oh god.
Or
What I always wonder about with
Yeah.
Polygon and IGN, we know for a fact that they have Battletech fans in their lineup. Why don't they let them pilot?
I mean, if I work for Polygon, I'm like, dude, I will definitely, pilot that mech, no problem. But like, it seems like they got the janitor from like Building C or something like that to go play it.
most likely they just had they probably had a journalist who's played other games but never played
Checkers.
a game where arms and torso are on different aiming reticles before.
Yeah.
Because that is really hard to get used to. I'm not gonna lie.
And,
So-
it is
weapon
at
groups.
first, yeah.
And weapon ranges.
Mhm.
Like,
See,
if someone's
those-
at least familiar with MechWarrior Online, they go, oh, look, it's the medium lasers are 270 meters. I wonder how this works.
I mean, that's not bad. Like, weapon ranges, weapon groups, like, I've played games that have similar amounts of keybinds. That's fine. But it's just, it is that aiming reticle because your CT is going to have a shit ton of your weapons, and it feels really, really floaty compared to other games. Because it's always almost there, but not quite at the center of the screen.
Yeah. At least with all of these gameplay footages, they all have 999
Unlimited
amount of ammo. Or they have limited, just it'll take them forever to burn through all of it.
Well, 10 minutes, I don't think they can burn through that kind of stuff, though.
Yeah. Though, I mean, it's the same kind of story as before. It's just kind of funny. Again, this is sort of the problem I have with the first footage they showed. It's like, just get someone who's actually kind of good at showing the gameplay, and they're kind of good, but you should. This is your public face, and you're just having a moron running around, just pressing all the buttons.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I mean, again, they have the worst part is they have to have a journalist play it because then that person is able to write an article about their personal experience that's like 10 pages long. Like, I know that, like, having maybe one of us do it who are more experienced with the series, we'd show better gameplay, but I don't think I could bullshit an article as long as they write afterwards.
True.
That's the thing that leads me back to my initial point. They have people who actually know Battletech. If you look at the articles, most of those are written from the perspective of a longtime Battletech fan. So I do wonder.
They
why
say that. I've been a
person's-
fan of Battletech for years, but there's no proof. I've been a
That's
fan
also
of
true,
Monster
yes.
Hunter for years, by the way. That's why I love the new game.
Hmm.
Can you prove that? Can you
No,
prove
really.
that I've ever played a Monster Hunter game?
I've been a fan of Fortnite for decades. I remember playing it on my dad's PC.
See, the problem if I say
Okay.
the problem if I say that though, like the PC is the size of a freaking building, so it'd be a little bit different for me.
Yeah, I would say comparing all the different videos though to get a bit more onto substance. It's a similar kind of objective every single time. Go to, like it's like assassinate the VIP, which is basically destroy a bit of a building, and there's some targets of opportunity along the way. Usually stuff like buildings, and it's the same kind of deal every single time. There's just tanks and helicopters spread very liberally all over the place. Like there's just swarms of helicopters in every single one of these videos. And tanks, to be fair, as well. But it's just like, as soon as you arrive, they have a whole bunch of
Army.
vehicles,
Yeah.
armored vehicles just flying around.
It feels like playing Ace Combat, if anybody has ever played that.
Oh god, that's a long time.
Dude, Ace Combat, where you just have random little tiny shit everywhere and you just shoot it once and it dies.
Yeah.
One positive thing we can take away from the gameplay videos, though, they're dropships. Look after them.
Yeah, they do
They
actually.
do
They look pretty good.
class. Oh.
I just hope they actually have different dropships you can actually purchase for your Merc unit. Like say, like they got the Leopard, which is inside the video. Then you could purchase the Union, purchase the Fortress, the Overlord, all the different types of dropships that are out there because they all do something different.
Whilst it is fairly pretty the insides, I'm not sure it's like somebody who's more used to game stuff would be able to describe this better, but a lot of the surfaces look kind of uniform shininess. Like it kind of reminded me of Halo 2, like the original graphics of Halo 2. Obviously
Really?
a bit better, but I was just like, this, this could be done aesthetically a lot better. Otherwise, my initial feeling from it as well was just like, okay, it looks nice and you can see the mechs and such, but is there any real gameplay point to the inside the dropship, since the majority of my game will just be dropping in the same auto-generated maps and looking through that menu?
Ambience.
Yeah, it's just ambiance, I guess, but I just sort of wish to some degree, if you're going to revel in the insides of the dropship, if there's just at least something to do or interact with, or something like if you want to travel to a new system, you go to the cockpit kind of thing, or you go to the the what's it called, like the bridge. There we go.
Yeah, bridge.
it's not gonna be a cockpit, it'll be a bridge. Yeah, you go to the bridge to travel to a new star system. Because they put the access panels to the menu system at the bottom and top and middle and all over the place for every single mech, and it's the same. You can instantly jump into any mech from any of the panels. It looked like it's just it didn't feel like you could fully immerse yourself there. Like I think at least a chance to immerse yourself would be quite cool.
I don't know. For me though, like I had an orgasm when they actually showed the inside of a Leopard dropship, because I've seen the insides of a Union dropship. That's the most common type of dropship like people use. But the Leopard dropship, I don't really see that much on. And so with this, only holds like 4 mechs, but still, it's like, oh, that's cool. That's kind of like what it might look like type thing. As far as you said, like the access panels, I do agree with you there. It should like if you want to go different star system, go up to the bridge. If you want to go to like I know they showed like him walk it over and like you see like stairs and you see like all the different munitions. Maybe that could be like the market. Like stuff like that, and their operations could be somewhere else or something. That'd be kind of cool to go ahead and have. But I mean, so far though, it's pretty good. And looking at the Leopard dropship, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting and cool. But I did notice too that the mechs were the same size. Like you notice, like Alice was the same size as Shadowhawk.
Oh really?
Basically look at it again. But yeah,
they're all quite big at the very least. But
oh yeah.
I would say there's a few other little things to detail. Like I liked the idea of sort of it told all personnel to scramble to certain positions when you're starting the mission. But then it's a little bit undermined by the fact that all the people who are walk around like they were normally. Like nothing's going on. If you had all of them sprint to actual different spots on the ship, that would be cool. That would again make the feeling that this wasn't just something they threw together, which though to be fair is something they probably just have thrown together for a demo build.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
But still, going forward, I think this is at least something we should, or at least I think people should ask PGI or keep in mind is, oh yes, it's nice having the insides, but what cool little details are you doing, PGI? When they say go to battle stations, do they actually go to battle stations?
Or do they just sit there and have a cigarette?
Are they just walking? Are these just like dolls walking around, that you can sort of look at, or is there any actual interactivity with these people? Is there? I just sort of, if they're just walking dolls, I'm like, ooh, dolls.
Yeah, it doesn't actually put you like into the mood of you being on a leopard drop ship about the drop and go drop into a battle scene or something like that. So yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So yeah, there's lots of little things, and I think you could go overboard with all these kind of details. But just at least let's not just accept the fact that you have the inside of a drop ship. I want PGI to expand on this to make it feel really immersive, to put in lots of little touches and details, or give at least hopefully with mod support, people can put in all these little bits and pieces to really make it feel immersive and sim.
I do see with mod support they're gonna have mechs with breasts. By the way, I see that happening.
Oh,
Not,
yes,
through-
totally.
not through
No
the
doubt.
Steam.
Not
mod
through
support
Steam.
store, though.
Yeah, true. Okay, I think that's all the topics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, I think. Oh, let's go in.
Yeah, my last little thoughts on
Yeah,
it
go ahead.
was to quickly wrap up. Is it's the same kind of mission structure for the actual gameplay, but I do like that they are showing off different biomes. So they're showing there's at least quite a bit of variety on the different biomes. That's good. That's quite well received. Otherwise, at least little notes from the gameplay. Did you guys see in the Atlas gameplay when the guy walked up a mountain to escape?
Yeah.
I found that hilarious. It's just like the music is swelling. He's defeated. He's done all the objectives. He's got tons of people chasing him, and he's like, they're all shooting him in the back, and he's not also twisting anything. As a and he's running towards a mountain, and it's like, oh right, he's stuck. He's just gonna get shot to pieces. And then he just walks up the entire like a sheer cliff face, and then all the locusts and other little smaller mechs are like, oh no, the Atlas knows how to climb mountains, and they just leave him alone.
Oh god.
And my favorite bit was that then he sort of like he sees the big giant dropship coming in, the big blob dropship, and he turns, he puts his arm reticule boldly in the middle of that dropship and presses the fire button with the AC-20, and obviously the torso is aiming somewhere completely different, and it just flies into a nearby hill.
Oh, God.
And he's trying to look cool at the end. The music is swelling. He's like, yes, I've escaped. I ran up a mountain. Take that, hill. And I was just like, this encapsulates the gameplay totally. And we're talking about with some people later on, I said, this is basically what happens when you give the VIP weapons.
Oh god. Don't even go there, man. That's a different.
Holy
That's a whole other
shit.
podcast.
He does climb like a sheer cliff face in an Atlas.
Yes.
That is ridiculous.
I hope it's an interesting gameplay problem. Like these are auto-generated maps, so you do get situations where you have to walk off cliffs to get to the objective. But then I don't want Atlases just to be, all the mechs to be sheer climb sheer cliff faces. That seems a little silly.
It's Mech Jesus.
Of course, this is an alpha build, so hopefully they're gonna fix some things, So,
I think like slopes might be their last priority when it comes to that.
yeah, by far.
Yeah. And
So,
otherwise, the Shadowhawk gameplay was quite nice. At least the guy just barely made it back. It was actually fairly well done as well. But they had some giant trees. The return of forest colony giant trees is confirmed. So those are just my last thoughts of the gameplay.
Okay.
There's so much silly shenanigans.
So that was the wrap up of the First Circuit Podcast, episode 23, brought to you by Universal Air, on time, on task, and on the move. Also from Veridian Dynamics, home of the Sabik Model K7 targeting system. We're connecting you. So thank you for actually stopping by, everybody. I do appreciate your time, and thank you, everybody. So I'll let everyone just say goodbye. So we'll go for Biter first.
Okay, I found out another stupid random thing. If you hit an Atlas in, the testing mode with an AC2, he flinches. and you can hit him on the left side, then the right side. One then the other, and he'll flinch very quickly. So you can make the Atlas dance. That is all.
Lemming.
Bye. Submit your dunks. Yay. Send them.
Senator Commander Lemming. I'll leave links to Lemming's YouTube channel as well. And Ian.
Thank you all for watching, and goodbye. See you next week.
And same with me from old Bob. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. You guys have a good night. I'll see you on the battlefield.